Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today to discuss the life of a beloved... we are gathered here today to discuss a well-known Final Fantasy... Today we're going to talk about a FORTNITE clone. Welcome, one and all, to the funeral procession of Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier. That's right, this game is the most recent release in the compilation of Final Fantasy VII. Actually, it's the most recent release in the Final Fantasy franchise. Why am I covering it now? Up to this point, we have discussed all of the Final Fantasy games in direct release date order. Except that recently we did break it because Crisis Core technically came out between Crystal Chronicles Ring of Fates and Tactics A2 Grimoire of the Rift, but I said we're so close to the remake, I'm just gonna skip it and then do that next. So we were already a little bit out of the loop, and I figured why not use this opportunity to also talk about another game that I will not be able to talk about in approximately 1 month. That's right, for the first time ever, we are able to discuss a game that will die and is not already dead. Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier will end service permanently on January 11th, 2023. So I'm releasing this video in late December, and if you really want to try it, you still got a little bit of time, but I highly doubt it, so why don't you just sit back and I'll tell you all about this game so you know you ain't missing much. First of all, I want to call out this game for ruining a long time tradition of Final Fantasy VII titles. If you're not a big Final Fantasy VII fan, you might not know that the spin-off games all have similar alphabetical order titles. You might wonder why they have such strange names like Crisis Core and Dirge of Cerberus. Well, I'll tell you, it's because they went AC, Advent Children, BC, Before Crisis, CC, Crisis Core, DC, Dirge of Cerberus, and even coming soon, EC, Ever Crisis. And then we have FS. So you got the F for First Soldier, but then you do an S. You squandered it. You ruined it. It's not important. Point is, it was a cool pattern, and now it's just kind of screwed over. Like, is the next one gonna be GS or GC? I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. This game takes place, canon, 30 years before the events of Final Fantasy VII. Point is, it's not really relevant, and there's also not really any story. The story is a bunch of Shinra soldiers are training to serve under Shinra, and they are competing in a FORTNITE game, which is a virtual reality recreation of the entire city of Midgar. And that's what it is. Because Shinra really thinks that FORTNITE is the best way to, understand combat and how you're going to be fighting anime protagonists. And, that seems like the best option. Just do a FORTNITE. I guess it's consistent because Shinra's always been doing virtual reality like challenges and stuff. Especially in Remake, there's a whole arena mode where you can do stuff like that. So hey, make it relevant for a new game. Who cares about the story, dude? There's no story. This is a FORTNITE game, alright? That's one thing I'm going to make clear. There are many Battle Royale games, especially in the past couple of years as their influence has plagued the gaming industry. But this is not just another Battle Royale. This is directly copying almost everything directly from FORTNITE. It's not a Battlegrounds clone. It's not an H1Z1, a DayZ. It is FORTNITE with Final Fantasy. This game feels like if they went all out and had a huge Final Fantasy crossover with FORTNITE, it would basically be this, because not much is different from that game. Also, that probably would have been way cooler and more profitable for Square Enix. But they make bad decisions sometimes, so let's talk about this game. If you played FORTNITE, a lot of my job is done already. You come in, On a helicopter, you jump off, you land, there's a big bubble that starts closing in, and there's about 75 of you, and you gotta be the last one standing by shooting people with guns. Let's talk about all these small things that are actually different from Fortnite. One of the main things is materia. You can find materia the same way you find guns, hidden in little boxes and crates around the world, and you can upgrade the materia by finding more. So you find a level 1 fire, you find another level 1 fire, and it'll just automatically become a level 2 fire. And then you can get it to level 3, and that's the max, and you have the strongest one. So it's a kind of a different way of progressing. You don't just find the rarest thing, like, oh, in Fortnite, I got the Kamehameha, so I'm just gonna kill someone with that now. I got lucky. There's a little bit more, progression. There is a style system, which is kind of like a job system. They really tried to put that in. So you can choose from a number of different jobs, like ninja, black mage, I don't even remember, but I chose monk. I didn't really experiment with the other ones because I just wanted to do one and see how far I can go with it. And you can level up this job. There are literally 3 XP bars. There's your level, like your main level, and then there's your style level, and then there's your like in-game level, which is just temporary for a match. And then there's a 4th one, the battle pass level, which you keep increasing to unlock more skins and stuff. It's overwhelming. This is such a zoomer game, You have to constantly be shown that you're doing something, even though you're doing nothing. I hate that about Fortnite games. That's the worst. But the style job system thing is not deep in any way. It essentially chooses your melee weapon. So I was a monk, and I had fists. I don't know if they do anything differently, if I have a higher damage with my fists or something, I don't know. But the main thing is you have a style ability. The monk, for instance, can put up a big old shield that's impenetrable, and you can plop it right in front of you down. The soldier, or is it like the warrior, classic job, the warrior, I think has like a big dash. There are people who can like teleport. There's abilities, and you can't unlock these abilities within a match. So that's the other cool thing that's a little different from Fortnite, is that you can rely on an ability that you have and your enemy probably doesn't and can't just get lucky and find it. I chose the monk because if you've played Fortnite, you know that most of it becomes not getting shot in the back by somebody unexpectedly and trying to shoot people in the back before they do you. So I figured if I ever get shot at, plop that shield down, take a second to recoup, and figure out what I'm gonna do next. There's a summoning system. I don't know how many summons are in the game. I've only seen Ifrit. I think Bahamut circles the map, and every once in a while you'll get a countdown going like Mega Flare is coming, 5, 4, and you have to look on the map. And if you're in a red bubble on the map, you're about to get Mega Flared, so you gotta go. That's kind of fun. But yeah, a summon, or Ifrit, is basically on the level of finding a Kamehameha in Fortnite. You find it in the supply drop. It's super rare. You get it, you unleash Ifrit, and he's there for 3 straight minutes. I don't know what you do. I never fought somebody who had a summon, but I got a summon a bunch of times. Just threw him down when I was in trouble and got away scot-free. So it's pretty good. Let's talk about controls. I don't know if this is specific to this game. It might control the same way in Fortnite for all I know, but it's a phone game. This game's only available on the phone. That's why it's dying. But man, does controlling one of these games on the phone suck so bad. Do kids normally just play like this on the phone? Look at it, there's so many buttons on the screen. The screen is just assaulting you with information at all times. Of course, it's digital pads, so that sucks to use too. But the worst thing is with your materia and other items and abilities in the middle of the screen, you're using your right thumb to look around, left thumb to move. If you ever want to use one of those, you basically have to choose between stopping movement or stopping aiming for a couple seconds to reach and press the button, which, by the way, you have to aim the fire. So usually your option is stop moving, aim, and then do that. But then you stop moving, so you're still targeted and you're easy to hit. It's just awful. It's horrendous. The default control scheme makes you auto shoot, so you don't have to press a button to shoot, because if you would have to do that, then you would have to stop aiming, which means you have to aim and then stop and then press the shoot button. Like, oh my god, that's terrible. So I opted for the default auto shoot, which is just aim, and as long as you're pointing towards a target, it'll auto shoot. But the shoot button's still there, and because the screen is so damn cramped, sometimes I'll accidentally hit it, and my character will empty like an entire clip and totally expose himself to his surroundings. It is awful to play. Is this what Fortnite is on the phone? I have to give the Zoomers some benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe they don't actually like playing on the phone. They just do it because it's the only option. Like, of course, they'd take the PC any day, but you know, when they're out and about, they got the phone. Fine. But again, probably the biggest problem with this game, Square Enix puts way too much faith in the phone. What is wrong with you guys? The phone is like, okay guys, what do we need to do? Well, Fortnite is the biggest game, so we should make that. We should just make that, and we should use our most popular IP. Oh, Final Fantasy? No. Final Fantasy VII. Like, why did you limit it to 7, by the way? This could have been a Final Fantasy mega crossover. I mean, that's half the appeal of Fortnite, is all the crossovers. You could have just made it a Square Enix thing. Get Final Fantasy, get Kingdom Hearts. Well, that's Disney, I don't know. You got into Smash Bros. Square Enix has so many IP. Could have crossed over with anything they wanted for free. If they got big, they could have done crossovers with other companies. But no, it's like, you have one map, it's Midgar. You have to be a soldier for Shinra. That you limited yourself so hard, you can't play on PC. Why? What reason to not put this game on PC? Square Enix just thinks they can do anything and put it on a phone, and they'll make tons of money because, well, the data says everybody has a phone. Therefore, we should make the most money on the phone and not put this on anything else. Like, it's just so stupid. This might be the least lived game they've ever put out. I'm not sure about that one. There's so many dead games in Square Enix's catalog, but anyway, what else do I say? I talked about the small things that make this game a little different, but other than that, it's just Fortnite with 75 people. I've won every game that I played. I played like 5 or 6 games. I've won every single one. And it took me a couple matches to realize that was probably because I was playing against bots. Of course, they don't tell you who's a bot and who's not, but you can kind of tell by the little banner you get when you kill somebody. Like, oh, it's a one-word name and a default thing and a default skin. That's a bot. Also, he was barely even attacking me. He was just like running up to me. I'm not sure I've ever played a match with humans in this game. I tried to do some research on this and I found a video of a guy talking about how there's no players and here's how you can tell with the default skin and whatever. I was like, oh, okay, so I'm probably playing with bots.
It feels like a PvE game now. Like, it's just, hey, here, run around for 20 minutes and then you'll fight one person at the end.
I looked on that video, and that video was 10 months ago. Okay, so I looked up the release date. It was released on November 17th, 2021. Okay, it's been over a year. I still think it's the most short-lived game, but I have no proof for that, so sorry. But yeah, 10 months ago was February, and that was only 4 months apparently it took for this game to be totally dead, and for the community, the small community, to start complaining that there are no players. I really don't think I've encountered a single player. Now that we're in the end game and the final season or whatever, less than a month ago, you can't find anybody. I won every match, and usually it was due to just waiting in the center of the circle and getting a little notification that somebody died in the hazard, which is the big bubble, and I just win by default. Real exciting gameplay. Check out this clip of me winning my first match.
on!
I was gonna do a special thing with this episode, and instead of talking, I would do a little blurb at the beginning and then just play a match to show you, but then it's like, it's so boring. It's just sitting, and then you see a bot running awkwardly, not knowing what to do, and then he dies. I got enough footage for you to get the gist of the game. I'll splice it throughout the video, but it's not worth watching a whole playthrough. Certainly not worth downloading the app and playing for yourself. So yeah, this game, like most of the dead Final Fantasy games, probably. It's a shame that they're gone, video game history or whatever, but like, who cares? You know? Did you see the trailer for First Soldier when it came out? Did you for a second think that that was a good idea? That maybe you should play it? Probably not. Maybe if it was released on PC, it'd be fun enough to check out. No, it's a crappy mobile game. Battle Royale. It deserves to die. I'm sorry. It deserves to die. It's the most cynical, just copy-paste what's popular, throw IP on top of it, barely add anything new. We should profit because data says we should. And it's just, you know, it makes you happy when it doesn't. Doesn't it? Doesn't it make you a little happy when it just completely fails and they lose money on the deal? You'd think Square Enix would learn their lesson, but they've done this sort of thing many times and they'll continue to do it. Who's excited for the Square Enix NFT game project? They're still doing that! They're still doing that! I mean, I consider myself a Final Fantasy fan, but you gotta call out the people when it's time. And when it comes to mobile games, Square Enix is like one of the worst. They insist on like real games being ported or optimized for phones before anything else. They'll throw entire games on phones exclusively only to kill them. We've talked about this many times on the show, and we'll talk about it a lot more. I haven't even really started covering smartphone games yet, so really excited for that. Anyway, it was fun to jump into modern Square for just a second as we go back in time, back to the late 2000s to get back on track. But we're not done with Final Fantasy VII. As I said in the last video, Crisis Core Remake is out, Reunion, and that is next. I should be playing that as we speak. So the Final Fantasy VII train continues a little bit more. Crisis Core is the final big compilation game. It's supposed to be the best one. I'm hearing great things about the remake, so it sounds all good. It sounds like 2 thumbs up. I can't wait. I'm gonna see Zack again. I'm gonna see Aerith. Gonna see Cloud. Gonna see Seth. And we're gonna get to the bottom of all that weird teaser stuff we saw in Dirge of Cerberus. I'm hyped. And then after that, we'll get back on track for real. We'll start talking about some more main lines, maybe. Maybe. A couple months ago, I made an estimate and I said that I should probably be hitting 13 around December of this year. Here we are, and that's not the case. It's a long road to Final Fantasy 13. Square Enix just like went all in on spin-offs during this era. Maybe that's what we call it, the trashy spin-off era. We have been moving a little slow. Remember, this is your semi-regular reminder. The series is on a time limit, and I have to beat all these games before the release of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which, last I checked, was due next winter, which could mean I have like a year left, but it could mean like January or February 2024, so we have a little bit more time. This is the first time I'm getting a little bit worried about not finishing in time. I feel like we should, but like there are so many spin-offs, man. There's so many. I feel like we're getting close to 13. I can feel 13 in the distance, but we're not there yet, man. We gotta finish off this compilation and cover a few more spin-offs probably between now and then. So stick with me. 2023. Reviewing every Final Fantasy or I die will return. And Happy New Year.